Yes, please punish me by making it harder for you to bother me, by user Ferdo. The owner of a small company issued me a company cell phone, that I didn't need, and felt that gave him an excuse to call me any time of day or night, work day or not, with stupid questions. He also kept giving us, those of us with company cell phones, changing rules about using those phones. One rule was that we had to answer ASAP. Another rule was we were not to talk on the phone while driving, we had to pull over and park, then answer and talk. So one morning I'm driving to work, and should get to the office about 15 minutes early, when he rings my phone. Morning traffic is heavy near the office, and it takes me some time to get out of traffic and park in a parking lot before I answer. He keeps it ringing the whole time. When I finally answer, he asks, "Where are you?" I tell him that I'm about 10 minutes from the office, but I had to stop to answer his call. He asks, "Why aren't you here yet?" I tell him again that I probably would have been at the office by now, but his call and rules have me sitting in a parking lot instead. I ask, "What is the hurry? Is there an emergency?" If I wasn't interrupted I would have been in the office early. He responds, "Why aren't you coming?" I remind him of his rule that I am not to answer his phone and drive at the same time. This type of stupid banter continues for a while, until he gets tired. So he hangs up and I continue to the office, now about 15 minutes late. When I get to the office, owner meets me and demands that I give him back the phone. Says I do not deserve it. Hooray! Now he is unable to keep calling and bothering me. About a week later, owner stops into my cube and asks why I am not answering his cell phone calls. I remind him that he confiscated that phone. Apparently he shoved it into a drawer, and he cannot hear it ring. Yet, I moved on to greener pastures not long after this. Fire this person that doesn't work here because they can't help me, by user Fantasian Mind. Originally posted on r/I don't work here lady. Someone suggested you guys might enjoy it too, smiley face. Hey everyone, got a short but sweet little story for you from the other day. So I was shopping in my city and went into a small business store there, that I like to get my dice and tabletop games at. I frequent this store pretty often and have become acquainted with the owner. We chat during my visits and as I am one of those I put the items back on the shelf after I am done looking at them type of person, it is understandable that this lady might have confused me with an employee. Quick info, the owner only has one employee, who wasn't in that day, and the store isn't too big, easily manageable for one person alone, no uniform, just name tags. Following conversation ensues. Lady, I am looking for game, don't remember exactly. Me, don't think they have it here, but, lady cuts me off. Lady, then where can I get it? Me, sorry, I don't know but. Lady, how can you not know? Do your job and tell me. Owner, joins us due to the commotion, sorry, is there a problem? Lady, are you the manager? Your employee here refuses to tell me where I can find game. You should fire them. Owner, looks at me, smirks, best customer care voice, OP, you are hired. Lady, confused. Me, catching on, oh, cool thanks. Owner, you refused to help this lady? Me, sure did. Owner, you're fired. Me, ah, dang. Owner, to the lady, now what did you need again? Never seen someone look that much like a fish and then huff and puff out of a store. Honestly one of the best encounters of my life. Thanks for reading, hope you enjoyed, smiley face. Sometimes you just do what the customer wants, by user Haytez Facebook 2022. One of my employees accidentally sent out the wrong item on an internet sale. Person was more than just pissed. We offered return at our expense and will ship the correct item ASAP and original shipping would be refunded. But no, that wasn't good enough for this person. Told me I should fire Steve for this. Steve, not his real name, had made a simple mistake and things happened because we were in the busy time of the year. Now this was 2 weeks before Christmas and I finally replied to this angry customer. Dear customer. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your insistence that action be taken in this case. I had been building a case to remove Steve from the company for some time and this helps me seal the deal. You aren't the first person to tell me this. Thanks to your complaint I have give to Steve his walking papers. He was very upset. He even cried a little bit and asked after 4 years how I could be so heartless to fire him 2 weeks before Christmas and that he was the only source of income for his family with 2 kids and disabled wife. I simply told him he kissed off the wrong customer. Sorry Steve, but Santa won't be visiting your kids this year. Oh, and Steve, sorry, but you no longer qualify for your year-end bonus. I thanked the customer because his complaint was gonna save the company a lot of money, and as a reward I was making his $8 purchase totally free. Customer sent back a very long email where he profusely apologized over and over to the point they must have been crying at the computer while typing it out. They were shocked and stunned I would fire someone just before Christmas and had this attitude that it was a good thing. They literally begged me to hire him back. Well, Steve and I had a good laugh reading what this angry customer wrote. I saved the letter and over the next 2 years sent it out twice more. Steve was not only a good employee who was honest and caring, I also considered him a friend. Give the people what they want and suddenly they realize they are the monster they hate the most. The birthday boy has spoken, by user Scanoman. We just showed up to a house to do a routine delivery and setup. Knocked on the door, and a boy about 6 with an absolutely sour look on his face opens the door, looks at us and says, "Go away." Mom is behind him coming down the stairs. I give her a quick wink and say, "Okay, we're leaving then. We'll take your bounce house to the birthday party down the street instead." Cue instant regret and mom apologizing for the bratty birthday boy. He was much more agreeable once bounce house was deployed, and reluctantly apologized. Don't use price labels, I want it deducted from my bonus, by user Bajimini. I used to work for a small, locally owned supermarket chain with a small level of bureaucracy and a high focus of getting stuff sold. After a few years we were taken over by a national chain, which introduced much bureaucracy where emails and phone calls from the bottom to the top would be lost to the ether and left unanswered. Their focus was highly on image, with staff at head office who seemingly worked to ensure similar-sized products sat next to each other on each shelf so that it looked nice. They also changed the shop managers' incentives. Their bonuses were the operating budget of their store minus wages, expenses, and written-off stock. So obviously we were now operating on a shoestring budget, so the manager got as much money as they could. Before the takeover we had an award-winning butcher department that worked with local farms and catered to customer requests. The new firm immediately closed the counter and filled chillers full of pre-packed sliced meats instead, that we frequently discounted to prevent them going to the bin. One time we received a dozen cases of a high-end cut of meat, way more than we would usually stock of an affordable packet and therefore at risk of running past its sell-by date and being thrown out. As it was a new product we didn't have a price label for it. After waiting a weekend for the system to update, I emailed head office for a label and filled the chiller, using a pricing gun left over from the takeover to label up each individual packet. We sold a few by the time I came back in the following week, but was pulled aside by the manglement. The area manager had been in to inspect the shop and was horrified at the ugly labels, and demanded they be taken off the shelves until a label was ready. I explained the issue but they wouldn't have it, so I took them down as instructed and left in the big fridge at the back of the store. They sat there for a month until they expired, after which someone else recorded them for disposal. A few days later someone at head office noticed the enormous increase in wastage and reported it. Down the chain it came, red-faced area manager storms in to shout at stern-faced store manager, who in turn calls over the tannoy for me to drop everything and get to his office. "I'm just waiting for the label," I told them both, as they searched for a scapegoat for the £3,000 write-off. I've since had similar at other employers where department heads had bonuses tied to sales but didn't like me pricing up produce, so hardware would sit and gather dust. I'm paid by the hour, no bonus, so I'm not going to argue the case.